15 rounds down, drop rounds out the door, just 2 rounds, just 8 days separate us and the checkered flag on the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series. Welcome to the penultimate round of the season from Brands Hatch in the United Kingdom. Final flyaway round or event, whatever you want to call it, of the year. And this is going to be our final sprint round as well. Nice to have you company wherever you're joining us, all around Australia, all around the world, on the platforms of SimShed broadcasting across YouTube and Facebook. The Brands Hatch 150, round 16 of the championship. And what a fascinating, tantalising situation we have in this series. Good evening, everybody. Zach Cabin and Chris Kisby with you. Welcome to our live and exclusive coverage on SimShed broadcasting of this second last round of the season. Welcome to winter here in Australia. This is the 1st of June. We're back next week for the grand finale. And Chris Kisby, this is really going to spice things up to, I guess, appease everybody of that cold winter chill. Some hot supercar racing on a Tuesday night.
Well, I tell you what, Zach, good evening to you. Good evening, JP. Good evening to viewers all around the world. Yeah, I tell you, we've had an average of -4 here down in the Apple Isle of a morning. And the ice that's been on my front yard hopefully will be taken off by the heat of these Super V8s at Brands Hatch. What a race, what a track. It's unreal.
I hope you're making the most of that ice, Chris Kisby. It'd go all right with a little snip of rum or a little bit of Coca-Cola, whichever you like.
It takes me 20 minutes to get the ice off the car when I go to the shop in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I don't miss those cold winters, no doubt about that. Folks, as I said, round 16, final flyaway round of the season. Critical point of the championship because from here on in, no mistakes required. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be smooth. It needs to be consistent. And more importantly, it needs to be fast because with 15 rounds down, 2 drop rounds have been ditched. They're gone. And now every point matters. There are no second chances, no more excuses. This is it. What a fascinating prospect we have as we have a look now at the championship standings and the points as we venture into this second last race of the season. Lassif Leonage still on top. Have a look at that. 33 points the margin between Leonage and Costello, holding against Ford at the top of the table. And it is Costello, the meat and the sandwich as far as the NCS boys are concerned, because Alex Court is third on 1,887 points. 61 points between first and third. This is going to be one hell of a final 2 weeks to decide our champion here on SimShed broadcasting the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series. Now, what we should also note, normal point score haul available tonight. Next week, double points. There are still at least 4 championship contenders here because you can't rule out Cameron Jones just yet on 1,821. He is a long shot, but you cannot rule him out. 1,707 for Ben Morris, 1,664 for Sean McNamara, 1,640 for Alan Dawson, 1,620 for Blake Urquhart. So just 44 points between 6th and 8th as well. So fascinating to see how that shakes and moves around and dices and whatever you want to put in there as your favourite adjective across the short course of the next 8 days. Slices, dices, mixes, mingles. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. 44 points. That will move and shake a little bit, I'm sure, between now and next week. Craig Schultz on 15.58, and then, of course, Chris Barnes on 15.38, ready up the top 10. But it is a race of 4, and the old Raider Costello, or the young Raider Costello, he is showing experience above his age. There's nothing about that, Chris Kisby, but he is the sole lone ranger as far as the Mustang Brigade is concerned.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. Well, we got 3 from 3, and he'll be going for 4 from 4, and to close that gap even further. So there'll be a bit of tactics playing out here. I'm sure Lassis will want to finish the race as high as he possibly can. And as we know, he's a podium, a P1 finisher, as well as the others. Alex Court, he'll be looking to put his name into the books there too by beating young Rayner. And splitting, try to get above him and take out a 1-2 for the Holdens. Personally, I hope that doesn't happen, but you know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly right. I've got 2.5 minutes before this qualifying session ends, so I really need to race through some race info here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this. 3.7 kilometre circuit, the Brands Hatch Grand Prix layout. 41 laps, 151.7 kilometres the race distance tonight. Fuel restriction at 49.5 litres for these cars. It says 3 pit stops, but again, I think they can get it done into 5.6 litre fuel burn per lap. That seems similar to Spa. I couldn't imagine it being that much. 2 sets of tyre limit burn around here as well. So one they'll start on, the other they'll take in either their first or second pit stop. Most have been going with the second, some have been gambling with the first. The race set for the 1st of June for 8:30 a.m. Brands Hatch time. So about 12 hours behind Australian Eastern Standard Time because it's 8:30 p.m. here. But the problem with that is that Brands Hatch is only 9 hours behind us. So we're about 3 hours into the past as we go on air tonight. 18 degrees on track, 22 in the sky. That's an exceptionally warm summer day there in the United Kingdom. 18-kilometre winds and a southwesterly direction for said winds. Now, also pointing out, 19X is where incident penalties kick in. 9X, every 9X thereafter, so 28, 37, 46, etc. Well, you would hope that they wouldn't get that far up the scale. Pace car speed, don't worry about that. But if we need to use the pit lane, 72 kilometres an hour is the pit lane speed limit there tonight on this magnificent penultimate round occasion, the 1st of June 2021. Now, one thing I should point out too, we've got qualifying underway here. We've got about 45 seconds left to go. 123.48, Rainer Costello. That is the time to beat. Here's the benchmark. No better time to lay down the gauntlet here, Chris Kisby, because he needs to send a message to the rest of the pack for the next couple of weeks that he's here and ready to fire. He's coming back out onto the circuit now. He's not going to have time to clock another lap. This will just be a systems check. Costello, 123.48, leads Ben Morris, 123.65, and Simon Chadwick, 123.79. Simon Vella, Leonage, then Sean McNamara, then Cameron Jones. So Cameron Jones is going to be right behind Leonage off the start. That could be viewed as a good thing. It could be viewed as a bad thing. Leonage is buried in the pack in 5th position. This is Rainer Costello's opportunity to just check out if he gets a good start.
Yes, I was just looking through those there, and Costello's in the absolute box position there. He's got Lassus 4 spots behind him there, and Alice Court even further behind there in 9th. So as we saw last week, Lassus got caught into a bit of trouble on lap 1, being buried in the pack and not getting a good qualifying time. So this will be interesting, very interesting, mate.
Is your money on Costello or Leonage as far as the championship is concerned?
Costello, mate. I am the blue oval through and through. Look, the young fella's been driving 3 for 3. He has been driving so well the last few weeks since he came back from his forced layout. And, yeah, I say that with a joke in my head. Rainer's mum and dad, I was saying that with a joke. Yeah, okay. So he's really cemented and laid down the rule, laid down the law and said, look, if you're going to beat me, guys, you got to beat me. I'm the one to beat.
Looking forward to this race immensely. I've just had confirmation in my ear as well, Chris Kisby, that 5.60 is not the correct fuel burn. It's actually 3.7 litres a lap, the correct fuel burn for this
I'm
circuit.
sure your mind will be going left, right and centre to try and rework those figures.
Well, that's exactly right. Provided that the provided that the fuel restriction is still 49.5 litres. Let's crunch some numbers here. That's going to be up towards 16 laps off the top of my head. So 49.5 divided by 3.7 gives you... Oh, actually, no. It's 13.37. 13.37. I didn't carry as much as I should have with the 0.7, but 13.37. So I tell you what, that actually almost implies that we're going to need some fuel saving here, Chris Kisby, because there will be guys here. Think about it. They're going to want to get to 14 laps. They're going to want to get to 28, and then they're going to want to be able to get to 41. 14, 14, 13. 13.37, that is an awkward number. 13.37 is a very awkward fuel number.
we see it week in, week out, Zach. The way that these guys can fuel save when they want to, and I really don't know how they do it. It's something that's still out of my range and my scope as a driver. But the cars are gridding up now, as you can see them popping on there. I'm a bit slow on my
That's all
Discord
right.
tonight and the stream, but they're popping in one by one.
They certainly are. Best look at the grid right now so that we get the start here. Let's go. Row 1, Rainer Costello, Ben Morris. Row 2, Simon Chadwick and Simon Vella. Row 3, Lassif Leonage and Sean McNamara. Have a look at that. Five different teams in the top 5 to start the night. Then Cameron Jones and Blake Urquhart from row 4. Alex Court, a little bit disappointed with qualifying, but we know he's a good racer. Peter Crossingham's alongside him on row 5. Michael Angus and David Kirby. The Calamari Racing duo from row 6 rather. Row 7, Ash Davis and Scott McHugh. Row 8, Craig Schultz and Jacob Brewer. Row 9, Alan Dawson and Ben Sion. Row 10, Wade Michael and Brian Cooper. Row 11, Robert Crisdale and Chris Barnes. Row 12, John Nicolau and Lindsay Hobbs. Row 13 is where you'll find Craig Newell and Tim Mulford. Row 14 is Daniel Schultz and David Leslie. That's the field, a little bit smaller than usual. However, no shortage of high caliber drivers in this field. What we might lack in the smallest bit of quantity, we make up for in the highest level of quality. This is the 16th round of 17 in the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series. Brands Hatch in the United Kingdom. Our third and final visit to the United Kingdom before we go to the Holy Grail next week for 250 kilometres. The aerial shot shows and tells the story, and we are set for a start here. Ford and Holden on the front row. Let's wait to see what Ben Morris can do there alongside Rainer Costello. Lights out, the 16th round is underway. Penultimate one of the season. Great start from Cameron Jones. He blasts through the middle of Leonage and McNamara on the run up towards turn 1, but Costello leads them through. We've got a little bit of smoke being kicked up further back in the pack, but so far okay, except for Sean McNamara. McNamara was in the gravel and in the dirt there at turn 1, but he gets back going. He's right at the back of the field. Costello leads them through. Then Ben Morris blasting into the third. There is Cameron Jones, an extraordinary start from him. Up 4 positions. Chadwick, Vella, Leonage and Lurkhart, the top 7 at the moment as they head down the back straight for the first time.
Playing right into Rainer Costello's hands here, Zach, as they come around the back there, and he's got himself out in front there. He's made sure that he's kept Vastis and Alex all the way back, and he looks like he's going to control this race from the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And happy to. He's already 1.8 seconds clear. Oh no, Leonage's in the grass, in the gravel. Leonage's in the gravel. Can you believe that? He's lost 3 positions. He's gone back to 9th. He's dropped down behind his teammate Alex Court. Oh, the nerves, the pressure, the tension, and the drama so far. Igniting on lap 1 in England. Just a wheel wide there at the previous corner, and then down the inside. Was there contact? No, there wasn't. Leonage was just too deep. Wow. Fireworks erupt very early. And that's another leg up to Rainer Costello. Remember, from this point forward, all points count. It's make or break. There's no margin for error. And you can tell that the drivers are a little bit tense and a little bit nervous out there already.
Oh, they're showing really, really well there. And for Lasseter to lose that, you haven't seen too many mistakes from him all season. And we're getting down to the back end of the season, and all of a sudden we're seeing these little cracks appear. And it's giving Rainer the chance to get up there and overtake him. So we'll have to wait and see at the end of the race, or the end of this sprint, and how far Lasseter is down and how much Rainer can gain on him. And at this stage, it's going to be a heap of points.
All right, car 307. David Kirby is going to cop a drive-through for contact on Sean McNamara, rather, on lap 1. So Kirby was the instigator in that. We wondered why McNamara ran off at the first corner. We now have our answer. What a charge this is from Ben Morris at the front of the field. We're on lap 3, and Morris is giving Rainer Costello the big hurry up. Down the inside, Simon Vella gets the job done on Blake Urquhart to move into fourth. Sorry, Chadwick on Vella, I should say. At this point in time, I just want to let everybody know that I'm having a small tech issue at my end with regards to timing. It's a little bit slow, so bear with us as we sort that out. Wade Michael, in the meantime, is sitting there nicely. So Vella on Chadwick and Urquhart in behind them, just to clarify all of that. As they make their way through, I should remember Vella is the KFC entry. Oh no, wheel off! Cameron Jones has put a wheel in the dirt now. So everybody's on edge tonight. It's so much interesting it's so very interesting, Chris Kisby, when you get to week 16 and everything's on the line and everything's to play for, how much more tense these drivers seem to be.
Yeah, and as I usually do before the races, I actually get in and I drive around the track that we're at the night. And I got to tell you that putting the supercar around this track earlier today, every time I got half a wheel into the grass, I slid off and slid around. So the importance of actually staying on the black stuff is really important tonight, from my experience, because every time I even sniffed it looking at the grass or getting just that little bit off, the car spun round on me. And it was so frustrating the first, 5 to 6 laps before I finally worked out that, oh, geez, I can't take any runoff whatsoever. I can't put the tyre outside that white line. And once I started doing that, I started to get a bit more consistent.
It's all about tonight, consistency. And at the moment, Rainer Costello has been very consistent. But look at Chadwick getting a big hurry up from Urquhart here. Through the back section of the circuit. They'll flick down here to the right-hand side, and that will bring them back around onto the main straight. And that will be lap 4 in the lap 4 in the books, and we're on to lap 5.
Oh, now I got something that I can at least watch. My screens tonight are playing up, so excuse me, viewers, because I'll be running off the actual in-race cameras, not the stream, because the stream is just so far behind.
Oh, Urquhart, sorry, Kisby. Urquhart down the inside. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can for the moment, but now he was a little bit tailing, a little bit wobbly on the exit of the hairpin, and he slots back in behind. Oh, good driving from Chadwick there to hold on to 5th for the moment. Now Urquhart has another crack down the inside.
Down the inside.
Coming through onto the back straight. Can't get it done.
Wow. I tell you,
this is a great battle for 5th.
This track is bringing everything out in these drivers. I tell you, it's just one of those tracks. I mean, people ask me what's my favourite track in iRacing, and I really haven't got one that I'm absolutely over the moon at. Every single one of them, whether it's because I'm so new to racing, so new to motorsport, that each track presents its own set of problems, and I'm loving trying to work out how I'm going to get around with my inexperience. But, oh, man, what racing.
Now, Lassif Leonage is boxed in 8th position at the moment behind Alex Court. So the more and more Rainer continues to pull away, the less likely it's going to be that Court's going to be able to close the gap tonight. Now, remember, the NCS boys would love a 1-2 in this championship, but the thorn in their side is Rainer Costello, who is doing a superb job at the moment. He's grabbed 3 on the trot. He's on his way to 4 at this point in time.
The way it looks, mate, it's going to be a 2-3, not a 1-2.
Well, maybe. Don't get too ahead of yourself, Kitty. There's still next week to come yet. There's still next week to come.
That's exactly right, mate. That's exactly right.
We won't call it just yet. However, there's a good move there on the inside. Sean McNamara fighting his way back through the field, gets the job done on Michael Angus, who has fallen down the order there. Or is it Craig? We'll have a look in a moment. We've got a replay here for you. Simsnap.com iRacing photography replay here. Lassif Leonage. Oh, Alex Court's going to play the gentlemanly act, the teammate card here and allow his teammate through. Nicely done. Tactical, no doubt. And Court has been very open about the fact that Leonage is the faster one in the team. Hopefully he'll be able to latch on the back and they can work together to weave their way through this field.
Well, team stuff would have to come into it at some point. And if Alex can drag Lass through, then it's all better. And it's good for the team. So we just have to watch and see. But the way it is, as I said, a swagger points going to Rayner and makes his job just that little bit easier. But he's got to complete the race. And he's got next week to go as well.
I misspoke earlier. I misread the 5 and the 8. 205 is Michael Angus. 208 is Craig Schultz. I know that. It's just I couldn't read the number. I saw 20 when I just ran with it. It's Craig Schultz there in the 208 at the moment. Sitting there second. We've got him on screen at the moment. 208 is Craig Schultz. He was the one being passed by Sean McNamara. And on the subject of David Kirby and Michael Angus, the Callum Murray Racing boys have had an absolute shocker thus far. They are boxed down the order, 26th and 27th. David Leslie appears to be out of the race. Oh, off they go! Oh, no, Chadwick. And also Urquhart just going a little bit too hard. Wow. Chris Kisby, I'll come back to you in just a moment. We've got a special guest here in the commentary box, and it's because he got stitched up. And we're Plan B, but it's very nice to have Aidan Schultz back with us in the NTS Super Series. Hello, mate.
Good evening, Zach, and definitely not Plan B, mate. You're still my race tonight, and I thought I'd jump in and try and help you out tonight. After my race, it did not go that well, but anyway, it looks like we've had a bit of action in the first couple of laps, by the sounds of this one.
Action.
It certainly has, mate.
We're going
you've just grabbed the best seat in the house. 100%. It's going to be one of those sorts of nights. We're only on lap 8. That's the important thing to note for those of you just tuning in, wherever you're watching around Australia. Rani Costello, Ben Morris, Cameron Jones, Simon Velleman, Simon Chadwick, the top 5 at the moment, despite Chadwick and Urquhart running off the circuit a lap ago. There is the number 12, of course. Car 666 had a hardware failure. Now, that was David Leslie. I'm just getting that message through from Race Control. 666 had a hardware failure, the virtual equivalent of a mechanical failure, and he is therefore had to withdraw from the race. So we're down to 27, and David Leslie is the first retirement of the night. But thankfully, his screen blacked out. Thankfully, that means play on, no safety car required. The race just continues. And this is Sean McNamara at the moment, all over the back of Lindsay Hobbs, Alan Dawson just ahead of them. So the Excalibur Esport boys under pressure from McNamara at the moment. Here's be your observations thus far. First and second status quo, Cameron Jones, the big mover thus far.
Oh, mate, what a race. It's just unbelievable the way these guys are going. We got Rayner out in front, best lap of 124.46. With Ben Morris, Cameron Jones keeping him honest there. So we'll see what happens with those two as the race develops. We'll see what happens to Laz and Alex as they work their way back through the field and either keep the gap in front of Rayner or in points, or the gap behind, so to speak. But either way, it's going to be an absolute cracking race to the finish. I mean, I am looking forward to these last 2 rounds, and just to see how much the 3 from 3 has actually benefited Rayner has been astonishing. I knew it was going to be close. I didn't expect it to be that close.
And gentlemen, if I can just jump in there quickly. Sorry, Zach, to cut you off.
You're right.
If I can jump in there quickly, can you just give me a bit of a recap there with Sean McNamara back in 19th? What's happened with Sean's race so far?
Yep. So for those of you that are just joining us, including Aidan, the McNamara entry got caught up on lap 1 in an incident with David Kirby. First corner, first lap. Kirby's been given a drive-through as a result of the contact, and McNamara's coming from the rear of the field and working his way back through. So he's pushing it uphill, if you'll pardon the expression, tonight, as they head down towards turn 1. There he is down on the inside to go to 18th on the inside of Lindsay Hobbs. As you watch it live, he gets the job done. Schultze, how well do you know Brands Hatch, my friend?
Very well. Done a lot of laps around there. Done a lot of practice laps around with actually one of my teammates, which is doing really well tonight inside the top 10, Scotty McClintock. So, yeah, done a few laps around here.
All right, excellent. There's McNamara down the inside. Can he get through for the price of one? No, he'll settle for just one. Gets down on the inside of Alan Dawson. Job done. McNamara back to 17th now. Next target, Chris Barnes, as they head down the back straight one more time. McNamara 17th. Lindsay Hobbs has just got by Alan Dawson behind him as well. So Dawson back to 19th. He loses 2 in 1. As Hobbs follows McNamara through, and McNamara goes out in pursuit of Barnes. Now, the reason I ask you that, Schultze, we might stay on board with McNamara here and go for a hot lap when they get back across the line here and get you to talk us through it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, probably throwing me under the bus a little bit there, mate, but that's okay. We'll walk through it. But the way about Brands Hatch is really keeping up the flow, to be honest. As we come here, coming onto the main straight, you want to keep the car very straight, not get any wheel spin, and drive that car and pluck the gears up as we come down the main straight. Over here, it gets really light into the corner, so you want to brake a little bit earlier so you can get it pointed into the apex, use all the exit. You've got a lot more exit than Shawnee just used then. Brake it early here as we go uphill. You don't have to brake as early uphill because obviously it slows down quicker. Modulate that throttle on exit, click the gear, come around, slowly turn the car into the apex, and they're using a lot of exit there, a lot more than I usually do, and because I'm always worried about X points. So then they go down a gear and they come through here. Got to really watch the wheel spin, as Sean just got a lot of wheel spin out of there, and click up the gears as we come down the straight here. We're going to come down a hill and then we're going to go into an uphill braking zone into the right-hander. It's quite quick, down one gear through that corner. Then we come up again to the next right-hander. I believe we're down another gear and ease on the power as we come across here. See, it's so undulating here in these cars, and with these cars, as I like to say, they're a little bit of a tank. So with that roll center and the way that those cars move, they're very, very hard to drive. As we see the 3 cars having a good scrap in front, and Sean's braking early as we come into the last corner again. Very ease on the throttle, ease on it. Click the gear early if you can. He's got a good run on the inside here down into 1. We'll see whether Sean can make the move into 1.
And no is the answer to that for the moment. Nicely done, Aidan Schultz. Yes, you're right. I did throw you under the bus, but you got out of there very, very wisely and very, very smartly. Down the inside, he gets the job done now, does he, McNamara? No, not quite. Brilliant driving from this pair, Barnes and McNamara at the moment. McNamara struggling to get back through the field. Whilst we were on board with him, you saw Robert Crisdale duck down pit lane as well. Hang on, who was the other one that just jumped in there? Wade Michael. Wade Michael's been to pit lane to complete a service very early on here. He was the first one to jump in around the fuel window. Now, we were just having a chat, Schultze, before we got on air here. Fuel is going to be critical tonight. These guys probably need to try and stretch it out from 13 to 14 laps. That way they can make it on 2 stops.
Yeah, definitely. It depends on their accident.
Oh, no.
Well, but you definitely
No, don't he?
No.
Yeah, no, you're right. Chris Kisby picked it up. He saw it before any of us. You saw the sand in the picture there on the exit of the corner. And this is Cameron Jones in all sorts of trouble. Let's have a look at this again.
Oh,
we caught the grass.
What I was leading to earlier.
Yeah, it can happen so easy around here.
Every single time that I got half a tyre onto the grass, that's it. I slid out. I just could not hold it.
But I must say, as I was just about to go on board, commentate on, I'm actually really impressed with my teammate, Scotty McClintock, at the moment. I've got to have a soft spot for my teammate.
Oh, mate, I'll go for Scotty Mac. As long as he's driving a blue oval.
He's doing a sensational job in the Crank Esports V8 Supercar, or Supercar as we call them these days. But Yeah, doing a great job. But old Sean McNamara, not so much old. He's not old. He's my age, but he looks like he needs to take his car down to Wanless Waste Corp at the moment. It's looking a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah. And it won't be the only one by the end of the 41 laps here, Schultz. Don't worry about that. 13 to 41. Great to have you covered wherever you're tuning in across the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. Tuesday Night Motorsport for the second last time in this season. But we've got news regarding the next season at the end of the broadcast, so stick around for that. Lap 14 of 41 as they head down towards the last corner to complete lap 14. Sorry, these guys are going to complete lap 13. And, of course, Rainer Costello is out to a comfortable 3.8 second lead. There he is on lap 14, just running to his own tune, playing his own song at the moment. This guy is in a league of his own. 3 wins on the trot from as many starts. And he got the hat-trick last week. He secured that with a magnificent, dominant performance in Belgium. Now he's backing it up here, and he'll go to Mount Panorama as a very much a championship favourite. He might not have the sway on the points table, but he is going to be one to watch next week when we get to the mountain.
Yeah, definitely there, Zach. From what I see, Rainer's had a sensational 3 rounds, and he's always been quick in what he's doing, and he's finally converted it into some very solid drives. So really good to see him do that, and it's really going to help his championship points moving into the final 2 rounds of the series.
Aiden, the
Well, you were with me,
consistency of
Schultz,
Rainer
last
has just
year.
been absolutely great, and the way that what can you put anything down to how that consistency's come along?
Just one sec here, boys. We've got Ben Morris having an off-track excursion. Cameron Jones, rather. Here's a replay of that again. And Ben Morris just ahead of him. There we go. Massive moment for Ben Morris. He's locked it up. Not far from where Jones lost it a few moments ago, and now slots back to 4th. So a great opening stint undone for Ben Morris. And Rainer Costello is now the man to beat. He's got a lead of 7 seconds as a result of the mistake for Ben Morris. Here's me go back to what you were saying beforehand, if you don't mind.
I was just sort of trying to get Aiden's thoughts on what he might have changed to get this consistency to come along. Is it getting used to the car? Has he finally found the setups that go to him properly? Or what's your thoughts on that one?
If I was to be the outsider looking in, which I am, I think it's a confidence thing. Like, we all race, and a couple of you guys like Zach and JP saw me race the other night, and confidence is a massive thing. So
it is.
If you're confident in the car that's under you, regardless of what track you're around, and can do consistent laps, and it's not necessarily about the fastest lap. So just being consistent and comfortable under the car that's under you, and it looks like he's got that at the moment, and that's why he's converting to these race wins.
Nice insight there from Aiden. Good to have him in the booth tonight. And what I was going to say, Aiden, you were actually with me. Oh, Rainer Costello in the pit lane. Cameron Jones, Simon Chadwick as well. The first round of pit stops is upon us at the end of lap 15. Now, cars up on the jacks. Fuel going in. Do they take tyres now or later? That's the unknown.
I guess will be later.
It usually is, isn't it? That's the way they've played it.
Is. That's the way that they've been going. He's back out again. 21 seconds for Rainer.
Very slick pit stop from Rainer Costello. 21.5. 21.8 for Jones. 20.8 for Chadwick. And then the rest of them beyond that. 22.0 for Ash Davis. 20.33 for Ben Siren. So about 9 cars went into the pit lane. Just then make it 10. And now we wait for the next 11 to follow. And Robert Crisdale as well. So 12 cars yet to come for service to pit road. Now, Aiden, you were with us when Rainer Costello teamed up with Lachlan Murphy to obliterate the competition. The Goodyear Auto Carolina Bathurst 1000. Well, it looks like the youngster's taken... Oh, no, lots of Leonage! Leonage has had a massive moment and he's clipped the wall! That's a game-changing championship defining moment if ever you've seen one. We know
definitely.
It's 1 point between the top 3 coming into this round, and Leonage is having a shocker by his standards, Chris Kisby.
Into the pits. He is. He's had 2 off tracks. He's now into the pits. And we'll see how long his pit stop is there, because he's got to have sustained some damage.
Yeah,
at some point.
it looks like there, Chris and Zach, that he did do a pit stop and he didn't change his rear brake bias, and it looks like he come in there and just locked up those rears and sent it through the sand trap, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
don't
the
know
thing
whether
I'm
that.
learning. The thing I'm learning
Go for
with
it,
that
Chris.
is yeah, and it was mentioned tonight because I've been training for the Porsches for my race tomorrow night, and because who's that off track there? Cameron Jones off track
Oh, Cameron
again.
Jones.
Is that in the Porsche especially,
Oh.
it has a default of 50, and where the fuel load is on the Porsche, that I have to bring the bias up at the beginning of the race, and as I run through, I have to bring the bias back, which will stop me from locking those front brakes. So I'm finding out in now my fifth season of racing, how important readjusting your car within a race is. And that's where these guys have it hands down over me. And that's how technical it gets, the viewers, that as they're racing, they will be adjusting.
Yeah, most definitely.
Working on the fly and adapting to the changing conditions, Aiden. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely, Zach and Chris. Like I just mentioned before, it looks like that, and I'm not sure whether Lassus actually pitted there, but I believe he did. To have
That was his
type of
first stop,
incident.
yeah, lap 16.
So he just got a gut full of fuel. That's probably equivalent to another 60 or 70 kilos on that car, and he would have wound the rear brake bias in.
Hang on. We've got a car off on the left-hand side of the circuit. That's a big one. That's Tim Mulford, and that might trigger a safety car. Unless he can get out of there. That might just bunch the field up.
Simon Vella's round.
Massive moment here for Tim Mulford. Simon Vella's around, as is Ben Morris. They've both gone round, and that was what happened to Timmy Mulford. So he's had two moments, one there and one going into the last corner. Oh, what a shock. So Benny Morris on your screen there. We've got him live.
Just added in our
We've
ears.
still got Tim
there will be
Mulford
a
off
safety
track.
car.
And the safety car has been deployed. Wow, what a moment here. Because this is Rainer Costello's lead gone. And the pack's back with him off the restart. Let's have a look at the off-track moments here. Vella and Morris first up on replay. Oh, Morris has taken a gutful of curb. Firstly, on the run down to turn 2, comes down the inside, exactly the same as last week. Exactly the same as the moment he had with Lassif Leonage. Morris will no doubt be wearing the brunt of a penalty from the stewards for that. I don't like making those adjudications on air, but when you look at the consistency of the stewards and the way they've played the cards so far this season, you've got to add 2 and 2 together occasionally and know that Ben Morris will be getting a whack over the knuckles, I'd say.
I definitely agree with that there, Zach. Ben didn't really have the overlap there. It was a bit overzealous there as you see him come right into the corner. No overlap at all. Needed to err on the side of caution there and just sent the 393 around. So it was really unfortunate. And that's my favourite car, the KFC car. So that wasn't very finger-licking good.
Great livery, eh?
Absolutely fantastic livery. Now, just on that, field's going to bunch up. We're under caution. Rainer Costello's the leader. We've got Timmy Mulford's car to be retrieved. And look at the engine smoke coming out of that. She's fried. She's gone. he should be in the KFC car. Now, that's such an unfortunate way for his night to end. There's the close-up. He's had a couple of fair hits as Timmy Mulford tonight, and he'll be the second retirement tonight. So David Leslie out with the technical failure, and Tim Mulford out with that crash to end his night. I just want to go back. We're talking about Rainer Costello. We're talking about his dominance and his consistency. And to be fair, Aidan Schultz, as I said, we saw the start of this run for him, the start of this, domination, a start of an era, for lack of better expression, from Rainer Costello when he teamed up with Lachlan Murphy there in December. That was a commanding win in the Goodyear Auto Caravana Bathurst 1000 at the end of last year. And he's gone on with the confidence that he's taken out of that to be a championship contender here on a night where Lassif Leonage is buried down in 8th position. This is a big game-changing night.
Yeah, it definitely is, Zach. Rainer and Lachlan know each other very well through karting, so that was really good for them to team up in the Bathurst 1000, which was actually my first call. So really good to see that and see these guys transition and through to doing what they're doing now, coming into this year with the reigning champion Lassif Leonage coming in there and doing so well in the first couple of rounds. I actually, when I was watching it, because I was commentating the GAC T2 series, I always keep an eye on this, and it looked like Lassif was going to go back to back, even though it's really early to make a call after the first couple of rounds. But Rainer's completely he's just got in the zone lately, and he's got it all under him. So hopefully he can continue doing this for him and see if he can come away with his first championship in the series.
But that's a fair point, Aidan, because 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought Rainer would get this close. I mean, I didn't think. I thought he might get up to second. He might beat Alex. But I didn't think he'd catch Lassif. But looking at the points tonight, what did you say, 30 points? And it's just...
Drop rounds is the main reason for that, Kisby.
What's that?
Drop rounds is the main reason why with the margin has changed as much as it has, obviously.
What that just shows
we were both a little bit surprised, to be fair. Sorry, Aidan, I'll just finish this point. Just to be fair, the safety car is probably going to make its way back to pit lane at the end of this lap. But I was going to say that we were a little bit surprised, the pair of us, Kisby and myself, that the margin was as close as it was. To have the three separated by 61 points, we knew Leonage would be the leader. We didn't think Rainer would be as close as he is, even with the drop rounds. But it's just been the dominance of the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks have really cemented him in a very good position for the last 2 rounds.
100%, and what that just shows again is even with the drop rounds with Rainer, it goes to show how consistent he has been. So his drop rounds hasn't been, so his worst rounds haven't been as bad as the contenders in front of him.
That's the point that I made last week was, and when I asked Rainer the question, what were his worst points? What were Lassif's worst points? And I asked Zach the same thing. Lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, here we go.
Back to you, Zach.
Lights out on the safety car. Race about to resume here. Brands Hatch in England. Not quite halfway. This is the end of lap 20. 21 laps to go. And Rainer Costello will bring this field back to green with Simon Chadwick second and Cameron Jones third. What about the charge from Chadwick so far tonight? Let's get back to work. Geez, Costello didn't muck around. Jones straight up on the inside, making an attack on Chadwick already. Look at that. And Alex Court looking to follow him as well. Jones to second. Greenlee. And now look at this. Chadwick falling back on the inside, pushing him all the way down into turn 2. Chadwick not giving it up without a fight. Jones sideways. Chadwick on the gas, and Chadwick holds the spot.
And great drive here tonight by Chadwick, currently being there in P2 from the 9.5 Sim Sports crew, who have just unleashed some new liveries that we see on socials this week. So great drive by Simon to be up into P2 tonight.
Indeed it is. Really hard charge. Ford 1-2 at the moment. Chris Kisby is loving that. Cameron Jones is third. Then Alex Court.
Yeah, love on it. It's just the way. Big special mention to that car that got out of the road at the restart too. I believe he may have been right out of whack, and he got right out of the road and let everybody else go round him.
Yep, no, very nicely done from Craig Newell from the NTS squad. Well done. Great sportsmanship from him. Could have had every right to sit where he was in track position, but would have been given blue flags anyway. So he got out of the road without any of that needing to happen. Chadwick second, going out after Costello. There's still a pit stop to come here. Jones, Court, Vella, Urquhart, Morris, then Leonage, then Davis, then Benny. So they're going to work very hard tonight at Brands Hatch. Benny Morris is going to get a drive-through penalty. We thought that might happen on lap 18 for the contact made there on the 393 of Simon Vella. Said Ben Morris will come to pit lane, and that's him out of contention yet again. But geez, Chris Kisby, I tell you what, it's been that sort of season for Ben Morris. He's had the pace, but he's either gone on the wrong tyre strategy or brought himself undone with a penalty, an avoidable penalty 2 weeks in a row, and that's really upset his rhythm in this championship.
Yeah, it certainly has, Zach. And I mean, we spoke about it last week, and that when we were doing the interviews about 80% skill and 20% luck. Well, unfortunately, the 20% luck for Benny Morris hasn't hit him, so he's found himself in trouble again.
Indeed, he did. And Aidan, it's so, I mean, the rules are pretty simple. They're strict, but they're fair, they're simple. And it makes it, makes for no margin for error. And if you slip up, you pay the price.
Yeah, most definitely. You've got to play the cards you dealt. And sometimes it's better to err on the side of caution. As I know, you know, everyone knows that does racing. Definitely sometimes need to err on the side of caution. So can be unfortunate, but at the end of the day, these guys are all racers and they're wanting to win, so they're going to try as hard as they can every lap.
Oh, hang on. Wade Michael's gone off. Thanks for the alert, Chris Kisby. We'll find out more on that in just a moment. And Morris in the lane to serve his penalty and out again. Here's a replay, courtesy of simsnap.com. iRacing Photography, Aidan.
Yeah, as we watch Wade at the moment coming up into turn 2, into the tight right. Oh, looks like he's locked the rears straight through the sand trap and into the fence. Very unfortunate there for Wade. Looks like his car's pretty unscathed though, so he might be able to get it back in and get a result. As we're now on board with Simon Chadwick in P2, he's fighting really hard in behind the leader at the moment. I think Simon's got something for him at the moment, but we're a long way in. We've still got to transition through the second pit stop and come through to the end. So I think this one's going to be one on pit lane if we go green to the end.
956 Peter Crossingham's going to get a drive-through penalty as well for contact on car 02 on lap 21. So there's another pit lane penalty being handed out. Jacob Brewer, of course, the 02, for those of you that are playing along at home. So the race control have had their work cut out for them tonight, but so far they've managed to handle it pretty well. Here's Scott McCune in 10th position at the moment, and he's following Ben Siren. Ash Davis is 8th. Lassif Leonage has got up to 7th now as a result of Ben Morris serving that drive-through penalty, but still, it's a night where Lassif Leonage, it just hasn't gone his way. You'd expect him further up the field than that, but you can't always be the perfect performer. And Laz is the championship leader. He should still be when we get to Mount Panorama. Look at that, forceful on the inside of Blake Urquhart.
Bit of a moment.
Can it get done?
Oh, no, they got to be careful.
No, jeez. Urquhart holding on for the moment, and he's got a log jam of cars up in Clucker at the moment.
And we see Scotty McCune there now looking down the inside from the Crank Esports car. He just aired on the side of caution. But, yeah, these guys are definitely fighting really hard at the moment as we're coming into the mid to back end of the race.
As they should too, because the last 2 rounds, they've got to get the points now so they can set themselves up for the mountain. And, all credit to them, the way that they're fighting. They know it's the business end of the season. They know they got it. The points are valuable, and the points that they're given are relative to the position that they finish. So they can make ground, lose ground, depending on where they finish in this race.
Matt Davis will be back with us next week for the call of the finale. He's going to take us on a hot lap of Mount Panorama, and looking forward to that as well. Next Tuesday night, don't miss it. Early start time for you folks, because we won't be mucking around. We'll be getting stuck into the race a little bit earlier due to the fact that it's 100 k's longer. So make sure you join us 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Race start 8 o'clock. Special broadcast alert for you right there on lap 25 for next week's NTS Super Series Grand Finale. Jones, third at the moment, chasing Chadwick. And Costello hasn't really got away from the pack. The pack has stayed with him since the safety car restart. That's the big observation for mine. Is Costello battling with tyre wear, or is he conserving fuel, or is he just taking it steady knowing that he's got the lead and he isn't having anyone fighting for it at the moment?
For me, I would say that he's just driving within himself and keeping the gap. I mean, he'll keep an eye on what is happening behind him. And if he doesn't have to push the car, if he doesn't have to push, they are really going at it. But if he doesn't have to push his car to the limit, then why should he? Because he needs it later if someone tries to attack him.
Yeah, Chris and Zach, if I can put my 2 cents in there, I know exactly what he's going to be doing. He's going to try and win it on pit lane here. So he's going to try and do the undercut, and then he is going to try and hold that position. So he will definitely be doing the undercut here. This track is really hard to pass. There's probably 1 or 2 corners that you can pass cleanly without it being really on the edge. So he's definitely going to try and win this one through pit lane. I'll guarantee you that. And if I'm wrong, then I owe you a card.
You're a better driver than me, Aiden, so I won't disagree with you.
It's Canadian Club and Dry, by the way, just in advance in case you are wrong. I don't think you are, but just in case, all right? It's 26 and 41. Head down the money.
I'll drink it with you. I'll drink it with you. But if I was Simon, I'd probably let this position go and sit him behind, not fight too hard. And, 1 or 2 laps earlier to the first guy, and then try and protect that position into the end, because we're now only 14 laps to the end.
Scotty McKeon up the inside. Sorry to butt in there at the hairpin.
McKeon up on the inside of Davis, that'll be a nice piece of work. Chadwick still holding off Jones. Don't let these positional battles are playing out thick and fast around us at the moment, folks. Try and stay on top of this, and you're better than we are. Down the inside, McHugh. Job done. Netcode as well. Oh, gee. Oh, wow.
There's such a thing as netcode.
Oh, there is indeed. Race control will have a look at that regardless. Geez, hip and shoulder, if ever there was some. A little bit of F and barge. Davis back in the pack there. Kisby's watching a different screen to us. We'll come back to him in just a moment.
I do apologise.
Let's go and have a look at... That's all right. Chadwick and Jones. We're watching at the moment. This is second and third in the motor race. And look at this. They're chasing Rainer Costello. 14 laps to go from Brands Hatch. And we've got pit lane activity as well.
Yeah, and if I was Simon Chadwick at the moment, I wouldn't be fighting too hard for that second place, because you're going to get Rainer to just get that one or 2 tenths a lap. And if he's going to go for the undercut, which I really think he is, he wants to keep as close as he can to him. But looks like he's now made that 3 or 4 tenths up on third place. So really, really good job there. So yeah, he's positioned himself right in for the undercut here. And if I'm made to look wrong, I'm going to made to look silly. But I would definitely be trying it, because if he pits on the same lap, I think Rainer's too good to get the win, to be honest. He's with the aero with these cars and the odd 1 or 2 passing opportunities. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So he's definitely going to have to do it on pit road.
Now, David Kirby's had an off-track excursion, but he now sits in pit lane, if we can have a look at that as well. I'm not sure whereabouts the off-track was, but he skipped into pit lane pretty quickly. So whether that was off-track and then a rage quit, I'm not sure. Whether it was off-track at the last corner and he was able to skid across into the pit lane, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, this is coming down towards the last corner by the look of that. So this is going to be coming around onto the main straight. Oh, no, he got tagged. He got turned. Whoa. I don't know who by, but he got turned on the way in.
Not
So
sure
we
if
did get into pit lane, and we avoid a safety car because the damage can be fixed. But David Kirby will not be happy. He's had a rough night at the office.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure whether these guys have to call out whether they pit or not, and people know whether they need to pit. But yeah, so yep, okay, so they don't have to. I hear that in the background. So yeah, that was very unfortunate there by Kirby.
More also unfortunate for the car following him as well. Oh, Daniel Schultz all over the back here of Alex Court, who's completed his second stop. Craig Newell's in the pit lane. He's been in there for 7.5 minutes. John Nikolaus has been in for 29 seconds as well. We're waiting for the second round of pit stops. We are in the window. Now it's a matter of how long you want to be on this new set of tyres for. How long you can stretch out your fuel and your tyre on this current stint. This is the first set of tyres, most of it. Daniel Schultz under extreme pressure from Blake Urquhart at the moment. Urquhart to the outside. Let's follow this. Down the hill, hip and shoulder, biff and barge, but Urquhart's going around the outside. Oh, no. Urquhart's hit the wall. That was silly.
And that
was avoidable.
Come into the pits there, Zach.
Yeah, and this is where Chadwick should have come in a lap earlier. He needed to. That was where his position was going to be made. He needed to do it because he needed to get in front and make him fight for it.
So Urquhart down the outside of Schultz, and then just have a look at the contact there. And they're both sideways. They're both gone. Schultz is able to keep it on the black stuff, but Urquhart's in the wall.
13.7 seconds
get out of
for
the marble,
Rayner in
gone.
pits.
It must be in the last name, gentlemen. Must be in the last name.
Yeah. Urquhart may have needed to give a little bit more a little bit more room, a little bit more leeway there, but at the same time, he wasn't racing. He was not racing Schultz for position. Schultz still had a pit stop to complete.
Yeah, exactly. But it's going to be really interesting to see. I believe that we're about to transition through the lead pit stop. Cameron Jones is now transitioning through pit lane. Really interesting to see whether we get the undercuts here and what their pit strategies are going to be. But for first and second, yeah, very excited to see.
But they're going to have to go because Rayner had 13.7 seconds. So he hasn't taken tyres, I don't believe, on his second stop. Oh, tyres go on with fuel.
Yeah, fuel always takes longer than tyres. Yeah.
Okay.
And because we've only got 10 laps, or now 10 laps to go, what was 12 when he pitted. Yeah. That's an interesting one. Watch the rest of the pit stops, though. I mean, lap 29, 14.4 for Rayner, 15.6 for Cameron, 15.0 for Alex, 12.3 for Simon Vella, and 15.9 for Lads. And that's that. Blake Urquhart had completed his second stop, 13.7. We'll wait and see how all that plays out. In the meantime, here's Costello. What's going to be interesting here too, Rayner would have taken on those tyres in the second stop, given past form, given the trend that we've seen throughout the series thus far. So he's going to be on fresher rubber, therefore faster rubber, 3 laps before Simon Chadwick, who was yet to pit. Chadwick might do himself a disservice here by staying out a little bit longer. Rayner's playing a strategy game. Get on the fresher rubber. Here's Chadwick in the lane now. Watch this. This is the critical point of the race.
And that's exactly what I said to you, Zach. Chadwick needed to make that move earlier. And track position is key. And he's just probably lost himself 6 or 7 seconds by staying out there. So, yeah, definitely track position was key. He needed to play his card early. He didn't have the faster car, but track position is key. So, yeah, that didn't really help him. It looks like we're looking at the winner at the moment for Rayner Costello here.
Yep, gone. And turn one already.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you saw for what I was saying there, what the strategy needed to do, and unfortunately you got that wrong. So,
hey, Joseph Leonage up to 8th. He's jumped Chadwick, and Chadwick keeps plummeting down the order. He's been in there for 34 seconds. There's problems for Simon Chadwick. There are huge problems for Simon Chadwick. Speeding in the pit lane, he's got pinged. Oh, no!
Wow.
Potential race winner out of business.
Oh, how quick can things change, ladies and gentlemen? What a ridiculous... Yeah, as we see Rainer Costello, which we think is going to be the leader tonight and the P1 winner, but anything can happen, as we've seen all night tonight. We don't know with 9 laps to go. It could be anyone.
Exactly.
So, Lassif Leonage is now 6th on the corrected order. We are waiting for Ben Sirens in the lane. We're waiting for Alan Dawson to join him. There he goes. Now, watch them go hard at work. If Lads can salvage a top 5 out of this, given the week he's had, given the night he's had, rather, oh, wow. That'd be huge. So the downfall of Chadwick, who has got back out on the racetrack, by the way, the downfall of Chadwick has really helped Lassif Leonage. It'll only be a couple of points, but it helps him in the championship fight. Vela trying to go around the outside of Alex Court. Alex Court trying to go with Cameron Jones. All of a sudden, you've got a battle for 3rd in the motor race on your hands right here. Because we've got Rainer Costello leading by nearly 5 seconds over Cameron Jones. Then Alex Court. Then Simon Vela. They're the 3 we're watching at the moment. Then 5 seconds back to McCune. 1.2 back from McCune to Leonage. Watch Leonage over the last few laps. Can he get 5th? McNamara is 7th. Only 2.2 seconds off Leonage. And then Blake Urquhart, Ben Siren and Chris Barnes make up the top 10. I'll keep watching this battle in just a moment, as you will around Australia. But the big movers and shakers so far tonight, we haven't mentioned this yet. Scott McCune up 9 positions, sits 5th. Ben Siren up 9 positions, sits 9th. Chris Barnes from 22nd to 10th. Then Ben Morris has dropped 12 positions after qualifying 2nd. A brilliant performance. He's down in 14th. Peter Crossingham has lost 7 positions as well. Lindsay Hobbs has gained 8 from 24th to 16th. So the big movers tonight, but the big losers continue. 18 positions lost for Simon Chadwick. 11 for David Kirby, who's had another off track right now. Michael Angus has lost 14. He's in the pit lane. Sorry, he's 1 lap down, I should say. And Craig Newell out of business. So too, of course, Tim Mulford and David Leslie.
And gentlemen, 2 of the good drivers that I want to make a big shout out to is number 1, Shawnee McNamara. When I first come on into this broadcast tonight, he was in 19th. He's now up to 7th. And Scotty McClintock was just outside the top 10. And he's now into 7th. So a really good drive by those 2 drivers tonight to be able to be in a position to have a good consolidated drive tonight.
Indeed. Simon Vela 4th at the moment. Through they go. Lap 34 of 41. So 7 to go when they get back to the line. Rainer Costello is going to join some of the greats in this game by winning 4 consecutive races on the trot. We were talking at the start of the season in the real world about what Shane Van Gisbergen was able to do at the start of the season and how many consecutive wins he's racked up. Rainer Costello is just 16 years old. He is dominating this championship at the moment in terms of outright results and race wins. He will go to Mount Panorama as a championship contender more than you would have imagined before the start of the night. You wouldn't have expected Laz to be buried down in 6th position. He was faster on the previous lap than Scott McCune, but he's still got 1.6 seconds to find. We don't think he's going to get there at this point on those numbers. It's been a challenging night for him, but 6 still keeps him in the championship. There is no doubt about that. Oh, geez. The 23 was trying to have a look down there on the inside as well. Kisby. Oh, wow. No, have a look at this. Craig Schultz, I should say, all over the back there of Ash Davis. This is for 11th position. Schultz very taily. Huge slide. That's going to give Davis the momentum. So there's battles everywhere, Kisby. The battle for 3rd is on between Court and Vela. The battle for
that's what I'm watching at the moment.
Between McNamara and Urquhart. That battle for 7th, rather. Then the battle for Davis and Schultz 11th. Then the battle for 13th between Cooper and Morris. And there are battles everywhere in the closing stages, as there always are.
There are, and I've been listening to Alex. I've been in cockpit with Alex and listening to the way he's throttle control as he's going around, and he's pushing that car to the limit, braking late, and getting in there. He picks up a little bit on Sean in some sections of the track, and then as we come around the hairpin there, he gains a little bit on Sean McNamara, and then going back up the hill, Cameron Jones, and then loses a bit on the back end. So it's just interesting to see the way that these guys control these cars with throttle control and their braking points.
Ash Davis wide. Oh, geez. That's not the sniff he wanted to give Craig Schultz. 36 of 41 here. As they head down the back straight one more time. Davis lost it coming out of 2. Schultz down the inside at 3. Davis stayed there, and they then... Now, car 43 is going to get a drive-through for contact with the 307. Car 43 is Ben Morris. It's his second drive-through of the night. Wow. That was that incident with David Kirby. We're just... Oh, no! Davis is off the road! Davis has put it off the road for the second time. And that now costs him 12th position to Brian Cooper.
Yeah, and what we see here, gentlemen, and everyone viewing around the
Benny
world on all the socials at the moment is we're seeing the pressure is really heating up here with 5 laps to go, and we see how much this means to these guys, and every position is going to be a key moving into next weekend at Bathurst.
The next week, Bathurst, Mount Panorama, the grand finale, 250 kilometres, solo driver race. Don't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. A gripping way, cracking way to finish the season right here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. And it's the same for the Goodyear Auto Care Rarana V8 T2 E Series. That'll be on the Wednesday night. Another taily moment for Davis. I think his tyres are shot.
Yeah, I think he's lit up the rears there, Zach. I reckon he's definitely lit up the rears there, Zach. So he's going to have to click those gears early and just try and salvage what he can out of this race.
Just a moment for you there, boys. Simon Vella putting the pressure on Alex Court. So good little battle at the end of the race with those two coming on.
Indeed. Ash Davis has had another off-track moment.
And is that Vella behind Court at the moment? Oh,
that
as he
is
goes
Simon Vella.
wide. So
Looks
like Vella's setting him up for the move at the moment. But it looks like Alex just positioned his car in a really good spot at the moment, just propping him mid-corner to try not get him to be able to get the run. But don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if we see Simon Vella try and have a run on Alex Court in the last couple of laps, because...
now, hang on. Big news here. Car 7, Blake Urquhart, out of business for contact on the 64. He's going to get a drive-through as well. We mentioned that might be a possibility. It's just come to fruition.
As we have seen through our timing at the moment too, and we go back to the battle at hand at the moment, Simon Vella in right behind the car in front. This is the strong part of Simon's lap, as you see him pull up on the car in front. So Simon's going to really try and position that car out of the last corner here onto the main straight and try and make a move into 1, or position his car to be able to come out of 1 and go up into the hairpin and out brake into turn 2. So we'll watch and see what happens. Doesn't look like he's got the run at the moment, but we'll see how he comes through turn 1.
He has. Alex just locked up a little bit going into there, turn 1. Let's see what happens.
As Alex blocks on the inside, he's going to prop mid-corner. As he does, it doesn't allow Simon to get on the gas, and he's going to do that for the next 2-3 laps. Try and protect that position.
Court will never work harder for a third place in his life.
Oh,
They won't get to Cameron Jones. They've lost that opportunity. David Kirby's got to get out of the road because he's lap traffic there in the Callum Murray Racing Stable. Look at Alex Court on the headlights now, saying, we're coming, get out of the road, and he does that. Well played, David Kirby. In the meantime, Court still holding off Fella. 2 laps to go next time by the line. Rainer Costello, forget about him. He's going to be the first driver in this championship to win 4 races on the trot.
And here we go. This is exactly where Vella's strong. And he needs to just not overplay his card right now and set it up for where he can make a move. And to me, it's going to be through turn 2, I would suggest.
Turn 2?
Yeah.
Let's watch it. Let's wait and see.
I reckon if I was him, I'd try and...
here we go.
I would try and do the fake into turn 1, go outside and get the cut back.
Yeah.
But
it's playing the script, Aiden. Have a look at this.
Well done, Aiden.
Oh, it gets the curb.
Here it is.
Here
Down the inside. There it is.
Oh,
Down the inside. No, couldn't quite get it. Caught with the high line. Holds on for the moment. Does he not? There it is. Cavello and Court side by side. Court still holding on.
It's a
Watch
cutback.
Watch this. Too much curb. Too much off the AstroTurf for Alex Court. Down the inside. No. Still not able to get it done. And Court holds on. Oh, what a battle.
What a drive.
I couldn't have called that any better if I would have been paid
you
for it.
had it absolutely spot on there, Aiden.
Costello's going to win this thing. Don't worry about that. Jones is a comfortable second. All of our attention and focus is right here. The battle for third. Bella will get another opportunity to have a crack. It's just a matter of whether Court can defend as well as he did that time around.
I think Court's got this one covered, guys. This is through the part of the track. It's really, really hard to pass. So looks like this is your 1, 2, 3 as we go across the line.
1 lap to go for Rainer Costello.
Wow.
He's on the way home. Cameron Jones is second. Court Vella, half a second, less than that, in fact, separates them. McCune is 5th, then Leonage. This guy is going to go to Bathurst with a real chance of flying the flag for the Fords as the champion.
Simon locked up a front.
Vella locks up. Court holds on for the moment. We'll get back to that battle. What a shame we don't have a mega wall or a picture-in-picture here, but that might be something we work on for next season. Down the back straight they go. That's Alex Court at 3rd position at the moment. You're watching Rainer Costello. That is him right there, the FORD, the Mustang, the horse, bringing it to the checkered flag to win for the 4th week in succession on 4 completely different circuits as well. But the big baby, the big bumper of the lot is still to come. And that is where boys become men. And this guy has the chance to do that next week. It'll be Costello versus Leonage for the championship. But right now, let's just recognise and acknowledge the achievement that this is. Last turn, checkered flag, headlights ablaze. Rainer Costello makes it 4 on the trot. In the NCS Super Series, he wins at Brands Hatch.
Well done, Rainer.
Second to Jones. Court holds on in an epic scrap for 3rd.
Wow.
Miller 4th.
What a
McCune's
crap.
going to go 5th. And then Lassif Leonage will bring it home in 6th. What a race. What a contest. What a championship we've got with 1 to go.
Yeah, what a sensational drive by the drivers tonight. I jumped in late in the commentary, and thank you for allowing me to get in here, boys.
You're most welcome.
Really enjoyed that, and that was some of the best racing I've seen in a very long time.
Guilty, if you want, stick around for the post-race show because we'll let you and Kisby as well throw some questions at these guys as we get stuck in here. The race time, 1 hour and 1 minute and 39 seconds. So one of the longer races we've had so far this season in the sprint format, but well worth the wait. Rainer Costello is about to light it up in celebration on the main straight here, ladies and gentlemen, and you will get to see it. Now,
Yeah. Sorry, you go, Zach.
I was going to say, in all the fun that we've had tonight, not once have we had the chance to crank up the volume. We are going to do that. We normally crank up the volume so you can hear the cars hard at work and we can have a breather. No chance for a breather tonight. There was just that much going on. It was one of the best races we've had so far this season. And it's a nice setup. It sets the rhythm and the momentum and the excitement levels ready for next Tuesday night. We can hardly wait for that. Rainer Costello, however, you will hear those burnouts as loud as we can crank them for you, ladies and gentlemen, because we will let the smoke do the talking for us here. We'll crank up the volume and celebrate with our winner, and then we'll get some final thoughts from Chris Kisby and Aidan Schultz on the other side. But it's Costello from Jones and Court. Ford 1, Holden 2, 3, Vella in a 4th. Court, a brilliant run again. He's been Mr. Consistent in terms of podium appearances so far this season. McCune was 5th. Leonage, McNamara, Siren, Barnes and Schultz made up the top 10. In fact, as we have a look down through the order, top 22 on the lead lap and 25 taking the checkered flag. Fantastic stuff. Enjoy Rainer Costello's celebrations for the 4th week on the trot. Oh, that's a nice way to leave your mark on Brands Hatch. One of the great race tracks anywhere in the world. Rainer Costello has towed it up tonight. Rainer Costello by 1.5 seconds from Cameron Jones. Geez, he didn't make it look that easy. But when you look at the timesheets, he made it look easier than what it appears on the timesheets. 1.5 seconds to Cameron Jones. Then another few seconds back to Alex Court, who just held off Simon Vella. Scott McCune, Lassif Leonard, Shaw, McNamara, Ben Sarr, and then Chris Barnes and Craig Schultz. 3 Fords, 7 Holdens in the top 10. A plethora of Fords in the second half of the field here, or the third, I should say. It was a split of 6 and 4 between 11 and 20. Dawson, Hobbs, Cooper, Crossingham, Davis, Michael, Urquhart, Morris, Brewer and Chadwick. 21st is where you'll find Nikolaus, then Chrisdale, Kirby, Angus, Schultz, Newell, Mulford and Leslie. Of course, the latter 3, all retirements there. And that is how we do it on a Tuesday night. We're going to get the drivers in here for some post-race discussion in just a moment. Cameron Jones will be in. Rainer Costello will be in as well. Simon Vella too. And hopefully also Alex Court won't be too far away. Looking forward to having a chat with these guys in just a moment, and they're standing by. So quickly, some thoughts from Aidan Schultz and Chris Kisby on what was a cracking scrap to set us up for an epic finale. First to you, Kisby.
What a race. What an absolutely cracking race. I would have to say that would have been one of the best lot of racing I've seen this season. No taking away from Rainer up the front there. He had it in control. He cruised to his victory. But Alex Court and the rest of them, be Simon Vella, what an absolute... I tell you, we did have to crank up the volume there, Zach. We cranked your volume up, mate, because you went off. It was unreal. But really safe. And the big thing about that hard racing at the end there was the absolute respect for each other that each of those drivers had. Now, in my experience, if we were racing that hard, something would have happened. And I was waiting for it, waiting for that extra touch or not so much room to give at the end from Alex and Simon. But, man, they knew exactly where each other was. They knew what they had to do, and they did it scot-free. There wasn't a scratch on the car from those last 3 laps. Absolutely fantastic racing, mate.
Aidan Schultz in just a moment. Rainer, just stand by there, mate. I'm going to keep you a few minutes later this week. I hope the parents don't mind because we're already running late with the post-race show here. Aidan Schultz, further to what Chris Kisby said there, can I just say I'm really, really glad that Strepsils were on special at Woolworths in Toowoomba on Sunday.
Oh, definitely, mate. Oh, I got out of a race and come in and I had a bit of cameo tonight, and this is the first time I've actually done a bit of commentary in the NTS stuff. So Really appreciate you guys letting me jump in there after I got wrecked out tonight in my own race. But seriously, I haven't had the best hour in my life. That was amazing racing with the strategies and everything that happened. So thank you guys for letting me be a part of it. It's been sensational.
All right. I just had the I don't like doing this, ladies and gentlemen, but it's one of the pitfalls of sim racing that I have to communicate with the director on air sometimes. I did get a message saying message sent, but I haven't received said messages yet. Whether that was for me, Kisby, or Schultze, I'm not sure, but we'll just get back to that in a moment. In the meantime, let's go with the post-race show here. Let's go with the man of the hour, Mr. Four-time, if you don't mind, because he's won 4 on the trot. No one's done that so far this season. It has just been a superb performance these last 4 weeks. Rainer Costello, you've really hit the mark at the business end of the championship, mate. You go to Bathurst as a real chance to bring this thing home.
Yeah, I've been saying all season, don't say die until the end. So the objective is Bathurst and the championship. So we'll see what we can do. And if you exclude Donington from when I had to miss that one, I've won the last 5 races I've done.
Oh, just subtly putting in an own little plug for his performance, and rightly so.
Sorry.
When it's that good, why not? Hey, no, you are in some sort of form, Rainer. Let's not joke around about that, mate. Tonight couldn't have gone better than that. It could have. It clearly went as well as you would have hoped it would. Obviously, Laz has had a shocker by his standards down there in 6th position, but I believe he'll still lead the championship going into Bathurst, but you've tightened it up. And the fact that next week is double points, that plays right into your wheelhouse.
Yeah, well, we've got a bit of a package ready for Bathurst, so we'll try and unleash that and see what we can do. The objective will just be to drive my race, and the rest will sort itself out. So yeah, it was definitely something that's in the back of my mind the whole time. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Indeed. Just stay there with me, mate. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Chris Kisby, anything you want to throw Rainer's way? Well, actually, no, you're on mute as well, so I can't really go to you. No, there you are. Do you want to ask Rainer any questions before I throw a few more in his direction?
Well, I mean, it's a fantastic race again tonight, Rainer. Fully in control there. You dominated the race. But mine's looking forward to Bathurst. Now, I'm an older fellow. I've watched a lot of drivers, King of the Mountain, Moffat. I've seen all of them go through the mountain. And I don't think, without a lie, that the great Dick Johnson, not one of them gets scared going to the mountain because it makes people. You said you got a bit of a package there. And what is your preparation mentally to get yourself ready for Bathurst and a possible championship win?
Oh, we'll just treat it like every other race. Obviously, we'll be really prepared, but yeah, we'll just treat it like every other race. Do all the usual preparation we do, and see what comes from it.
That's Zach. That's an old mind on young shoulders, mate. And yeah, excellent job. And good luck for next week. But it was just, I'm almost speechless at the racing tonight.
Yeah, I'm almost speechless as well. It's only because the vocal cords have dropped a cylinder, but that's another story for another day. Rainer, let's get back to you for a moment here, because that was a clinical performance, but you didn't pull away from the pack the way you have done in previous weeks. Was that tactical? Were you just happy to make sure you got to the finish? What were the tactics tonight, mate?
Well, from the start, Ben Morris was keeping me pretty honest. He was really staying there, so I was having to watch him and just make sure I hit every mark. Brands Hatch is probably one of the most difficult tracks around our calendar to go to, and make sure you hit every mark and don't miss braking zones and turn in points. And it just really takes it out of you mentally to do that for 41 laps. So yeah, it was keeping Ben Morris behind was the first objective, just to try and control the race from the front. Then I think he made a few mistakes that gave me the gap. And then from there, we came in for the pit stop. Just made sure I didn't get any incident points from getting mingled up with other cars. So kept it clean. Came out after that pit stop. Safety car came out, and I'm not sure what the other boys did for tyres, but yeah, the pressure was really on for that last stint there, so I had to be careful and make sure I didn't make any mistakes.
Interesting that you say that because, I mean, we observed in the commentary when Ben obviously had his off-track moment, then obviously subsequently copped 2 penalties and ended up out of the race in terms of outright contention. We noticed that after that safety car, Chadwick stayed with you. Then, of course, he got his speeding penalty. Then Jonesy stuck with you. It was an interesting night at the office. You never looked challenged, but you never pulled away. So it was going to always be interesting to get your insights on all of that. Tactically, was it tyres in the second stop as usual?
Yeah, tyres in the second stop.
And
Oh,
what's
Can't
what's
we read him?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely. And with regards to next week, mate, is there much time to prepare this weekend, or have you got something in the real world that's going to keep you away from the sim?
No, haven't got anything in the real world this weekend. Got a club meet after, and then we've got states in Emerald the weekend after. So we'll finish up NTS, and then we can focus on real life.
Why not? Fantastic. I'll come back to you in just a moment, mate. You can thank all your sponsors and all that stuff in just a moment here. Let me bring in Cameron Jones firstly. Jonesy, you needed that result tonight to try and stay with particularly Alex Court and Lassif Leonage in the championship fight. You are the outsider, but double points next week means you're still very much a contender here.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make up that many points, but I'm third in the championship would be nice, but I'm not sure how far Alex will be in front of me.
Well, given that he was right behind you there tonight in the race, you wouldn't have clawed back as many points as you would have liked tonight. But, I mean, then again, the mountain delivers strange things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not one of my most favourite tracks. It's a lovely track to watch racing at. Not the best to race at.
Well, yeah, I was going to say a little bit later on in the conversation, it does bring different challenges to Brands Hatch. The first one being concrete walls. We'll get to that in just a moment. Hey, Cameron, mate, nice performance tonight. A result you really needed, to be fair. And it was all in the start. You blitzed up through the field to grab 4 positions on the opening lap.
Yeah, I really needed that. I've been doing a few races during the week, and I've stuffed up every one of the starts. So that made up
You
for it.
didn't stuff up tonight, mate.
No.
Not at all. Just to give everyone an insight, we often hear someone like Mark Scaife rabbiting on about how difficult these cars are to launch. By the way you're talking, it's just the same in the simulator. Again, further emphasising the realism of the iRacing platform.
Yeah, well, when you get it right, you really know you get it right. But there's a fine line between getting it wrong and getting it right. And it's hard.
And I always get it wrong.
Yeah, it's hard on a track like this because it's off camber, so you really use it a lot, the tyre.
You had to work hard for second there, mate, because in the second stanza, I think it was the race, you had a couple of cars following you there closely. Again, was it similar to Rayner in the sense that every marker you had to hit tonight? How much were you feeling the pressure?
Yeah, the pressure was on. I just made too many mistakes. I probably would have been with Rayner in that last stint, but too many mistakes on my behalf.
Safety car helped bunch the field up, and that's why we had 22
Definitely.
finish on the lead lap. But the fact that we had that field bunch up ready for that second stint, you were able to follow Simon Chadwick through there. He was able to follow Rayner. He wasn't getting as away in the way that he normally does, which means, everyone was fairly well evenly matched tonight. But that second round of pit stops, Chadwick copping the speeding penalty, that helped you out because you're having trouble clearing him.
Yeah, I think Simon took on tyres in the first stop, so he had plenty of pace. Like, he was hanging with Rayner, and I was pushing hard to try and stick there. So he definitely took tyres in that first stop, I reckon.
Good stuff. We'll come back to you very shortly, mate. There's plenty more questions to throw around here. Aiden and Chris is standing by as well. Aiden, before we let Rayner go, is there anything you want to throw his way?
No, just sensational drive, Rayner. I jumped on about 8 laps in, and I was doing my own thing, having a race, and I wasn't really expecting to come in here and commentate, and I jumped on and helped out the boys. And, mate, you're a class above tonight. Just clean set of heels and gone. 4 wins in a row. Sensational, mate. You got to be proud.
Yeah,
He'll
thanks,
correct you
Aiden.
on that.
Sorry, who's going to...
I didn't hear that. I don't know what just happened there.
Go on, correct him, Rayner.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's actually 5 wins in a row if you
Oh,
drop
5
the
wins.
round. Yeah, if
No.
you did the one that he missed.
That's all right. We'll just go with 4 then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll go
copy
with
that.
4.
Yeah,
But
I was going
out,
there
of,
anyway.
out of Central Queensland, mate, and I like that because I'm actually from Central Queensland and my kids live in Rockhampton and they're just stone's throw down the road. So yeah, really, really great drive, mate. You've been doing sensational lately, so good to see you up the front again.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, Mr. Costello, the question remains: do you go to Bathurst thinking you can win this thing, or are you just going to play it by ear and see how the race pans out and worry about the championship once the checkered flag falls?
Well, it's a bit of a plague having the championship on your back, going into the race because no one else has a championship to play for, and they're all going all guns blazing. So I'd say, well, as hard as it'll be, and I probably won't be able to do it. We'll try and put the championship out of my mind and just focus on the race and push as hard as I can. And
Aren't you glad you're not going to have an interview before the race?
oh.
we can change that.
Absolutely, we can. Absolutely, we can. In fact, there will be a qualifying broadcast of the shootout coming up this weekend in readiness for that round as well. So we will actually get to chat to Rainer between the shootout and the race, but it'll be after the shootout rather than before the race per se. More on that for drivers later in the week. More on that for those of you watching at home later in the week as well, because next Tuesday night, the shootout will lead into the race as far as our coverage is concerned. So we will have an earlier start time, but our race coverage kicks in at 10 to 8 with the race start at 8 o'clock, just reiterating all of that. In the meantime, back to Rainer Costello. Mates, Bathurst, you've got form at this venue. We were only talking earlier about your dominant performance in the GAC Bathurst 1000 just before Christmas there with Lachlan Murphy. How hard is it when you know you're only going quarter of the distance and you got to do it all on your own?
Yeah, well, it should be fine. Done a few long races at Bathurst and long races in different endurance races in the iRacing official series, so we should be all good. I'd say the main thing will just be keeping up the concentration level and getting the strategy right. That'll be the key factor there.
All right, mate, I can't hold you up any longer because it's already past bedtime. Mum and Dad will crack the whip if I don't let you go in a hurry. So let's get you to thank whoever you want to thank now, and then we'll chat to the other three here.
I'd like to thank Coghlan Race Engineering, Daniel Coghlan for all his help, F Suicide, E1 Sim Racing, RSW Graphics, Abrizi Simware, Total IT Solutions Brisbane. Bad luck to Jacob. He had a bad run tonight. He was looking good, but unfortunately he got caught up in some incidents that weren't entirely his fault. And I'd like to thank my mum and dad for all their support and allowing me to race. And we'll be back tomorrow night to spot Mika in the race.
Of course, Michael Masuria going around in the GAC V8 T2E series. Matt Davis has the call for you alongside insert expert commentator's name here, probably Andrew Collins, tomorrow night from 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Good on you, mate. Thank you. Well done again, and all the best for next week.
Thank you.
So, technically 5 wins on the trot, but there was a round in between. It's just that he didn't start on the grid. So when he drops that 0, by gee, he's a real threat in this championship, no doubt about that. In fact, to be fair, Chris Kisby, that the fact that he was able to drop a 0 has served him very, very well.
It has, and look, even to do the 4, if we take that 0 out, to do the 4, it just shows the domination he has at the moment, and it's a credit to the head that's on young shoulders there. And with that, put it back to you. We'll get to the others.
Yeah, we will. We've already had a quick chat to Cameron Jones. We're going to check back with him very shortly. In the meantime, can I just say as well before we get to Alex Court, every week you hear these youthful blokes come in here and thank the organisation F Suicide. Now, we all know what the F stands for. We're not going to muck around there. I'm just very impressed with the restraint from all the drivers that they've shown so far in not bleeding out what the F actually is. Very well done to everybody there. We are a G-rated program, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Court, let's get to you. down there in the Apple Isle. Third tonight, another consistent performance, the result you needed, because at the end of the day, you're trying to stop Rayner from getting second. It's going to be hard to do that. But at the same time, you're also trying to stop Cameron Jones from leapfrogging you into third. Pressure's on, but you handled it well tonight.
Yeah, 100%. The pressure's on. Look, first of all, I just want to congratulate Rayner on the win, Cam on second place, and also just give a shout out to Simon Vella for the battle there for
What
those last
racing.
few laps. It was insane. That was bloody hard work.
It was bloody hard work in the commentary box as well, but it was intense. It was good fun. It's what championship racing is all about. And now that we're at the business end of the championship, Alex, I made mention at the top of the call, we're seeing a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes, one from Laz, one from Cameron. And actually that's one thing we haven't even mentioned with Cameron yet, but we'll get back to it. I know he touched on the fact that he made some mistakes tonight, but we want to just get back to that in a moment. But were you feeling extra pressure tonight? Were you feeling that the stakes have been raised now that the drop rounds are out the door and this is business and there's no margin for error because every point counts from here on in?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I was bricking it before the race. I've really struggled this week. Haven't had the quali pace that I'd like. So yeah, mentally it's been very challenging for me this week.
And Zach, I must add that when he says he's bricking it, it means that it was ice cold bricking it, because they would have been ice bricks with the weather we've been having down here.
Yes. The old Tasmanian winter starting to really set in, isn't it?
Oh, you know what?
And I'll tell you what, the Ipswich mornings have been crisp as well, but we're only on one layer of jumper so far, so it's not too
You
bad.
Queenslanders wouldn't know what cold was.
Oh, I would, because I spent 9 years in Bathurst, as I made mention the other day in a social media post. And trust me, wearing 2-3 jackets a day was standard procedure from about May to September down there. Love that part of the world, and that's where we go next week. It's a shame I couldn't actually get to Bathurst and broadcast from the mountain for our broadcast next Tuesday night. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh.
Now, actually, we should try and tee that up for the Goodyear Auto Carolina Bathurst 1000 at the end of the year. We should just try and see if we can't broadcast from Bathurst. That'd be something. Anyway,
Can
let's
we
work.
please? Can we please?
Can we? Yeah, I know exactly. We'll just break the SimShed broadcasting budget to make it happen. But let's try and do that. I agree. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm
of
just
me.
muting JP at the moment, so that
Yeah,
because I can hear the words coming in my ear.
I can see the red mist descending. Absolutely. But in saying all of that, it's terrible when I start getting ideas because they're usually costly. Let's get on to Alex Court here. Mate, we know it's been a tough week for you. You said so yourself. How's the pain levels? Because we've been monitoring that this season as well.
Yeah, I've had the ice pack on while sitting here, so little bit of pain. Quite a bit of pain towards the end there. I was pushing pretty hard, so yeah. But look, it's pretty good. So,
mate, you've got to be impressed with your race craft and your race speed, because again, it was a poor qualifying from you tonight. You would have liked to be a little bit further up on the grid. Ninth, however, you were able to start behind Cameron Jones there, behind Lassif Leonage, and work your way through. So you've gained 6 positions. That's a pretty good effort, and I think the only one that gained more positions than you, actually, there were 2 more in the top 10. Ben Siren moved up 10 positions from 18th to 8th, and Scott McCune moved up 14th to 5th. But of those that started in the top 10, you are the one that progressed the furthest up the field, and Jonesy just ahead of you in terms of overall race position, but just behind you in terms of positions gained. He gained 5 spots tonight.
yeah, look, I think this season my quali pace hasn't been there. It's definitely something that I need to work on in the off season, I think. Look, as far as race pace goes, yeah, look, it's I think for the last couple of seasons, the race pace has always been there. So yeah, I guess I just feel a little bit more relaxed in the race, and you've got longer, and you don't have to push as hard sometimes. So.
This is very true. We've got Simon Vella standing by. We'll get to him in just a moment. Actually, no. Chris Kisby, have you got anything you want to ask Alex before I move on? And Aiden as well.
No, I think I've just covered most of it. As I said, I'm speechless with the driving effort from Alex and Simon. As good as Cameron and Rayner were, in the way that they went. But yeah, I'm
Yeah, go
still in
back.
awe.
I've just got to let Kisby know I'm sitting here in shorts and t-shirt as well with two fans.
You got the fire going, mate?
Nah, heat pump on in
No.
the lounge room, but two
Oh no,
fans in the sim room.
no, we've had
Right.
the fire
Nice.
going since 3-4 days ago.
Very nice. Hey, Alex, Aiden, I can see you jumping in there. I'll let you in just a moment. Alex, the people wouldn't appreciate just how hot the sim gets when you're hard at work, and you work up a sweat. Is that the reason you've got the shorts on?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
She
I'll agree there.
even though she's pretty cold down here at the moment, she certainly stays warm in the sim room, and I was sweating quite a bit towards the end of that race.
So there you go. Summer attire in a winter in Tasmania. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go to Aiden Schultz. Schultzy, far away.
Yeah, Alex, I just wanted to jump in, mate. A couple of laps. Sorry, just took my push to talk off. But I noticed there with 2 or 3 laps to go that Simon, I called it on the stream, and if you go back and watch the broadcast back,
Sure.
you can see it. He was trying to set you up there, and he got the overlap, and you did really well, and you're propping him mid corner. Was that your plan? Were you planning, knowing that okay, if I prop him mid corner, he's not going to be able to get me, or did you think you had pace on him? How was the car? How did you feel?
Yeah, look, the car felt really good. It felt shocking in qualifying. So we won't talk too much about that. But yeah, look, I've said it before when I've been up here. I'm gonna make it as hard as possible for anyone to pass me, no matter who they are. I race hard, I race fair, and some people may not like that, but yeah, all credit to Simon. It was an intense battle, and yeah, look, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you definitely did that, mate. I called it from the broadcast booth, and I could see you were just propping it mid corner and not letting him get the run off there. And I definitely think Simon had the run on you, and definitely had better pace than you in the last 2 laps. But kudos to you, mate, because you made your car 3 foot tall, and at the end of the day, you could be faster, but you got to make the pass and you got to make it cleanly. So great job, mate. It was great to call. Well done,
No,
Alex.
thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Let's bring in the other part of that battle in Simon Vella, mate. Dead set unlucky in the fair income department. It was either going to be 2 Holdens or 2 Fords on the podium. In the end, it was 2 Holdens, but by gee, you made Alex Court work for that. That was awesome to watch.
It was awesome. Congratulations, Alex. Yeah, it was good and clean. I was just trying to get him, like, you really can't pass anywhere except for turn 2, Randy. So I kept trying to set him up, and he just kept having me covered until second last lap. He slightly got a bit slow out there. I thought, I'm going to have a real good go here. I just couldn't get it done.
What'd you make of the race as a whole, mate? I mean, you started 4th, you finished 4th, but it doesn't look as simple as that. Well, it does look as simple as that on paper, but it certainly wasn't as simple as that in reality. You had to work very hard for that, not just in the opening stands of the race when Cameron comes storming through and Ben Morris and Simon Chadwick were there, but then in the backstage of the race as well. Even though you had Scott McCune and Lassif Leonage covered, Alex Court kept you honest there when you were trying to just get that one position gain to get on the podium.
Yeah, I've kind of spewed it away because I had a bit of contact with Ben Morris, and I wasn't getting investigated. I wasn't sure if I'd moved too much on the brakes or not. It turned out I didn't. But just spewing and got that little bit of contact because I lost a couple of positions there. But yeah, overall wrapped. It proved what I wanted to improve in that is qualifying. I really struggled to qualify the car. I made a few adjustments to my pedals and made good ground there.
Simon, it's as if Aiden was absolutely in your head, because those last couple of laps, and as you said before, the go back and watch the replay, because he called your move to an absolute T, and I'll throw this one to Alex too, because knowing the way that where the passing opportunities are, was a key to be able to get around him. We thought you'd done it, and Zach was absolutely going off his tree because we thought you'd got around him, but he was able to cover you out so well on that particular corner. How long did it take you to work out where you were going to pass him there?
I was thinking about the whole stint that I was behind him and thinking I'm gonna send it down that turn two the minute he makes a mistake, but he just wasn't making a mistake. He got a
Yeah.
He
slight
wasn't, no.
that second last lap. He just slightly got out of there slower than normal. I thought I'm going for it now, but it's just
Rainy Costello mentioned earlier that you had to focus for every corner of every lap here at Brands Hatch. You put 1 foot wrong, you pay the price. And as you said, Simon, case in point, Alex did not make a single mistake.
No, he did phenomenal. No, hats off to him. It was a good battle.
That's what we come here to watch.
Absolutely. Now, tactically, tyres, was it second stop as well?
Yeah, second stop.
It seems like everyone follows the same pattern there. I mean, at the end of the day, you're caught between, do you want the pace at the end of the race or do you want the pace in the mid stanza there? And everyone goes for the end of the race because that's where the cookie crumbles and that's where the chips are won. At the end of the day, though, I've got to ask the question: how was the tyre wear towards the end of that second stint, mate?
For me, it was fine. I had no dramas with tyre wear. Even towards the end of the long stint that we did going into the last stop, the car was I think I only lost about 4 tenths, half a second per lap. So it wasn't huge. I was expecting to be a lot worse.
Indeed. All right. Anything that Adam Schultz wants to add in here?
No, mate, nothing in particular, but yeah, definitely watch the broadcast back, man, because I definitely called everything you were doing. You did an amazing job tonight, and you made it really good from the broadcast booth and a little bit of excitement there. So great job tonight, mate.
Yeah, actually, the same goes for Alex as well. You guys stole the show tonight when we would have normally been focusing on Rayner or Cameron. We couldn't take our eyes away from third position. You guys just obliterated the rest of the field in terms of airtime tonight. You had that covered. Let's turn our attention.
I just had a note from Rayner. He says, "Ha ha ha! You've got the fire on down there. I've got the air conditioning on here in North Queensland." Yeah, thanks, Rayner. Right, mate.
Air conditioning on the first day of
Winter.
winter. Yeah, yeah. Well done, Rayner from Mackay.
Well
Yeah,
done, Rayner.
mate.
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, just before we go further, boys, I just want to alert everybody to some real world motorsport that they can have a listen to at the end of the broadcast here. You can jump onto my old stomping ground, 2mce.org, and check out round 2 of the Queensland Brisbane Collision Centre Queensland Touring Car Championship. I think there's been a boo-boo in the production of it because, not from my end, from their end, because it hasn't picked up at the start of the broadcast, but that's another story for another day. They might have to rerun it next week to compensate that, but we'll see how we go. In the meantime, for those of you that are focusing on the sim racing, let's turn our attention to next week, boys. Before I do that, though, Cameron Jones, a couple of little off-track excursions for you tonight, which just, I mean, was that a case of just feeling the pressure or just not being 100% comfortable with the track or the setup, or was it a combination of the above?
Just pushing too hard, mainly. Not concentrating. That's the main thing. I get distracted very easily.
I hear you on that one.
You and me alike, absolutely. As I said, I'm getting distracted by trying to make sure a radio broadcast goes to air whilst we're broadcasting live at the moment. Well. Kisby, you were going to say?
No. I was.
No. I thought someone was going to jump in there. That's all right. Let's press on then. Bathurst, next week, when you think about distractions and places where there's no margin for error, this is one place where you can't afford to make a mistake and you can't afford the distractions that lead to making a mistake because there is no margin for error on the best 6.213 kilometres of motor racing real estate anywhere in the land. It is Mount Panorama Bathurst. It is the NCS SuperSeries Grand Finale, third and final leg of the Melbourne Hydrographics Depot. Triple Crown as far as the big races, the marquee events are concerned. And we cannot wait to see how this one plays out. Now, on the subject of all of that, let's turn our attention towards the qualifying and the race itself. I want to start with qualifying. Alex, we know that qualifying is your Achilles heel, mate, but it's crucially important next week. How comfortable are you going to Bathurst? How suited are you to the circuit? How does it agree with you? How are you planning to kick the qualifying gremlins in the balls here and just send it.
Yeah, look, Bathurst is my all-time favourite track, so really looking forward to starting doing laps there. I may even do some laps tonight, not sure yet. If not, I'll be jumping on the sim tomorrow and smashing laps there. But yeah, look, I've done hundreds of laps there. So hopefully the qualifying gremlins don't get me at Bathurst. So hopefully I'll be in the top 10.
Just getting a comment here from Scott McCune as well, who was in that race tonight, finished inside the top 10. Good on you, Scott.
Well done, Scott.
He decided to take tyres on the first stop, but didn't tick rears. So unfortunately, lost 8 seconds in that stop, and that was the end of his fight for
Yeah, Scott, that's
the outright
almost
position.
as bad as me not ticking my fuel.
Or unticking it when you push to talk, eh?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at.
Still a good drive though to get back to P5. I might say they're a bit
Right.
biased.
Absolutely.
My teammate. So but yeah, no, that was good, and I didn't know that until I just heard that. So hearing
No, I
that
didn't
now,
know that.
that was actually a really good drive by Scott.
Certainly was. Fast running out of time here, fellas. Let's stay with the talk regarding Bathurst for next week, because we could talk about. I'd love to sit and talk about that battle between Vella and Court all night long. But we'll let the replay of the commentary do the talking when the boys go and watch that a little bit later on. Schulte had the tactics worked out to a T.
Undismayed.
And obviously, we were going off tap here in Central Commentary. We cranked it up to 11 tonight. It was really good fun. Cameron Jones, as you said, third would be wonderful in this championship, but by gee, there's some stiff competition in your way there.
Yeah, just got to rock up and do the best I can and hope for the best.
What
think
are the
there's a lot of-
tactics? Sorry, mate. Keep going.
I just think there's a lot of luck involved, especially at Bathurst. Strategy and all that.
Oh yeah.
If you
Yeah.
get a safety car, when it falls, how it affects pit strategy, and a few other things. There are so many different elements to next week's race. We can hardly wait for it. I mean, when you look at your tactics going into next week, Cameron, obviously staying out of trouble is key. But have you got someone that you can work with there next Tuesday night to help you on your way here in the battle with, firstly, Lassif, who is, still the points leader, then Rayner, who's a close second, and then, of course, trying to pip Alex Court for third here?
I do have some people to work with. I won't mention who at this stage. But
Yeah.
yeah.
41
Getting
laps.
it under his hat there, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame him. It's
neither
that
do
point
I.
of the season. It's that point of the season. Everyone's keeping their cards close to their chest. Cameron, with regards to the race, though, 41 laps, a long way around the mountain. It should be somewhere between an hour and 40 and 2 hours. We know that a lot will play out with regards to. Well, actually, hang on. I say 41 laps. It could be an hour and a half if we get no safety cars. But it's a tough slog. It's a long slog, and you've got to be picture perfect in terms of lap by lap for 41 laps. Not an easy thing to achieve, especially there.
It's one of those tracks when you get in a really good rhythm, laps just flow by and you don't even think about crashing or nothing. You do perfect lap times and everything, but when you get in that mindset of worrying about hitting a wall and whatnot, bad.
Exactly. And on that subject, I mean, how comfortable are you with driving that circuit? I mean, you said earlier it's not one of your favourites, but are you at least comfortable?
Yeah, I can put a few laps together. Don't know about 41 in a row, but we'll try.
What about traffic, lap traffic in particular, and I mean the fact that it's a narrow circuit at the best of times. There's not much room here to move, and getting caught behind lap traffic is one of the pitfalls of the circuit.
I reckon the front bumper will get used.
Yeah, I love it. Rubbins racing, as they say. Simon Vella, what are your tactics going into next week, mate? I mean, obviously you'd love a little bit of redemption for this week to try and get on the podium, but those top 4 in the championship, they're going to be tough to go with.
Absolutely love Bathurst, so fingers crossed I can get in the top 10. The pace should be there, so yeah, I'm very excited.
Actually, one more question for Cameron. How much emphasis do you place on qualifying, given that it is a 41-lap race?
Look, top 10. I don't think it's really that important. But it's hard not to get an incident point. Like, you've only just got to graze the wall and your lap's done.
Exactly. All right, so
Been
top
there,
10
done
is
that.
top 10 is what Cameron's saying. And what about you, Simon? Where would you like to be on the grid for next week, if anywhere?
Front 2 rows would be beautiful out of all the other drama that might happen behind.
Excellent. Good stuff. I have to say, I can't really wait for next week. I just wish it was tomorrow. 8th of June can't come quick enough. This is going to be an epic scrap, a 4-way fight for the title. We know Cameron's a long shot, but double points, so everything to play for.
Yeah, definitely, Zach. Bathurst. Like I've said in my first ever call, Bathurst. We all get excited for Bathurst. So we're talking here all about the guys, where they're going to qualify and where they want to qualify, but that means nothing at Bathurst. Anything's going to happen. So can't wait to see what happens next week on a Tuesday night here on Simshade Broadcasting for the Bathurst race. So really can't wait to jump in. If I'm not a part of it, can't wait to watch it.
Looking forward to it immensely. Again, if the race you're in on Tuesday night doesn't go to script and you end up in the garage, feel free to jump on in. Matt Davis, Chris Kisby, and I will be here with you for the call, and we are looking forward to it immensely. There are so many questions we could ask with regards to next week, but we're fast running out of time here. If the championship points are ready, I think we should have a look at them, because that will really set the scene for next Tuesday night.
Yes, please.
Why not?
Here
Wow.
we go. Whoa.
Wow. Wow. 50 points separates the top three. 119 separates Cameron Jones and Lassif Leonage. And forget about the rest. It's a championship of 4, double points on the line. And it is 13 between Lassif Leonage and Reina Costello. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Wow.
As I said earlier, Zach, it would have been, and he was very non-committal on it, but he would have known where Lassith was, and he must have known how far he had to be back to actually gain these points. Now, these top drivers, Alex, Cameron, Rayner, Lassith, Ben, Sean, Simon, they'll all be looking at that and say, look, if I can beat him by X amount of points, X amount of positions, that's X amount of points. And as it's just shown there in the results.
Alex, I would put it out there, though. I'll go back and have a look at the rest of those points in a moment, folks, but you keep having a look at them as they scroll along your screen there. I'm going to go off what Chris Kisby said there. I would feel that if I'm Lassif or Rayner, the last thing you want to think about is the championship and all those possible equations, because you'd just be adding more pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And the more pressure you add on yourself, the more likely you are to end up in the weeds and out of business.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'm not gonna be afraid to admit this, but I put so much pressure on myself every week, and it again, like with the qualifying pace, it's something I've got to work on, and I've got to give a bit of credit to JP. I often message him during the week, and I know he's always busy Tuesdays, but I often send him a quick message Tuesday, and he just sends me a message back, and he's like, "You've got this, bud." Like, just whatever you do, I'm always proud of you. So, thank you to JP for that.
You got to be very grateful, I guess, that you've got some people in your corner there, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Look, all the guys in the team are fantastic. It's been a real big help the last few rounds having Aaron Hayden on board for crew chiefing, so that takes all the pressure off me needing to worry about fuel and all that. And tonight, he spoke to me a lot. He just said, you've got this, like stay calm, deep breath, all that sort of stuff. So it's only small things, but small things go a long way. And yeah, I'm truly grateful for all the support and help that I get from in the team.
It all helps. There's no doubt about that. Now,
100%.
if you don't want to listen to me spruiking for another 4.5 hours with the Queensland Touring Car Championship, here's another program alert for you. French Open Tennis underway, day 3. Roland Garros. number 1 seed Ash Barty on centre court at the moment and 4-2 up in the first set with the early break. So you can switch on to 9 Gem and check that out, or Stand Sport around Australia as soon as we're done here. But don't go yet because we've got a bit of business to tackle here. Simon, as an outsider, and I can ask you this question, I won't bother asking the other two, but as someone that isn't in championship contention there, because of the whole everyone wants to win at Bathurst mentality, how do you attack next week? Because you haven't got the championship to think about. You're just going there to focus on the race result. It takes a bit of pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely be sending it if I got a chance. So I won't be thinking much about. Well, I got no championship to worry about. So if I can be in a position to capitalise for a podium or even a win, I'm going for it.
All right, I like that mentality. Jonesy, I mean, when you've got guys there that aren't in championship contention that might be racing with you, the pressure it mounts up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but I got to send it mentality no matter what. So.
Well, I was going to say you've been that way right throughout the course of the season. Must have been frustrating though to end up in the dirt there in the early stages of tonight's race. Thankfully, it didn't cost you too badly though.
No, it didn't. That's what I get for looking at my data screen when I'm coming up.
At least
I've done
he's
that
honest
before.
about it.
Yeah.
We've all done that. Absolutely. Anyway, all right. Let's get some thank yous and get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. First to you, I'll go from 4th up tonight. Hey, how's that sound? Simon Vella, you're up first.
Yep. Obviously, thank you, Century Motorsport. Who else? I've forgotten them all at the moment, but whoever I've forgotten, I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, KFC. Don't forget to get your 495 hot rods, Phillips, anytime before 4 p.m. And that's it.
And don't forget also, I have to say, Simon, I'm a big fan of the Go Bucket combo for $4.95 as well. That's just a nice little appetizer that fills you up when you're on the go and you haven't got much time to stop and have a full meal. I'm a huge fan of the Go Bucket.
You can't go past a zinger.
Yeah, well, see, as someone that doesn't handle spice, I've always been an original recipe Philip Burger combo person, but my old man loves the zingers. So, can I just say too, because I'm going to forget on Friday night on Gentlemen's, happy birthday to the old boy for Saturday. He's 59, so at some point next year in the month of June, I'll have to be making a trip down to Cessnock for the big 6-0, but let's focus on that next year. But happy birthday to the old boy on Saturday. In the meantime, well done, Simon. Congratulations. 4th place tonight. Cameron, Alex Court was 3rd. Let's go to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So obviously, Racing with Autism Australia, all sorts of disability services, SimShed Broadcasting, Nationwide Technology Services, Goodyear Auto Care Arana, Dragon RC, DSL Welding, Abruzzi Australia, VR Cover, Cars for Hope, Blue Stampede Labour Hire. As always, Gary Bradshaw for tuning in from New Zealand. Aaron, my engineer, all the teammates in the team, JP for putting on an awesome series, Zach and Kisby for your awesome broadcasting, and shout out to my wife, Fiona, for everything she does.
Oh, Fiona's a brilliant.
She's awesome.
Yes, that's mine. I got a Fiona as well, and all Fionas are brilliant.
Yes.
I'll hedge. I'll vouch for that as well. We've got a Fiona who does all the photography and videos for the Queensland Touring Car Championship as well. There must be something in the name. Cameron Jones.
No personal sponsors or anything I wanted to thank, but I'll just thank you guys for a great broadcast every week.
All right, mate.
Thanks,
Thank you
mate.
very much for that. Very nicely done. Guys, stick around. We're not done yet. We've got a bit of business to tick off here because we've got some exciting news to announce here on a Tuesday night for you. And that is that registrations are open for that on your screen there.
Wow.
The RSRA, Real Sim Racing Australasia Super Series and the Super 2 E Series, our second season for 2021. Our naming rights sponsors are staying on board, but all of our sponsors are now equal. So it's going to be a brand named series rather than a sponsor named series. Real Sim Racing Australasia to bring you the Super Series on a Tuesday night and the Super 2E Series on a Wednesday night. registrations are open. This is going to kick off June 22 and 23, respectively. So we're going to have a week off, June 15, 16. Finally, we're going to have a week off. We're all looking forward to that. Tuesday nights have never looked normal for the last 17 weeks, but we're looking forward to that. So June 22, 23, registrations open for that. Get amongst it via the Facebook sites that you see on your screen there. Both Real Sim Racing Australasia and SimShed Broadcasting will be back live with you for a new season. 12 rounds in that series, no drop rounds. That's what you got to make mention of, or you got to make note of as you get ready to launch your applications and your submissions. If you want to be a part of the best way to spend Tuesday and Wednesday night motorsport right here on the platforms of SimShed
I'm going to
Broadcasting.
have a look at my time schedule. I might even have to see whether I can get into that Super 2.
Well, Kisby, it'll clash with your up and comers, mate. That's the
Yeah, I
only
know.
problem.
That's the problem.
That is the problem.
I've just decided I'm in.
Well, because I said I was in there, you can beat me.
No, 'cause
Brilliant.
it does not conflict with my other schedule, so I'm in.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Big name back on the grid. Aiden Schultz. There you go. Good
Unless
stuff.
I'm commentating, so.
Well, yeah, that conversation I'm sure will be had in due course as well. So that is the big announcement we had tonight. There'll be some promotional content regarding that in the next few days, but all roads lead to next week. We're doing a little bit of overtime tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No apologies for that because it's worth every cent on the back of what was one of the best races of the season.
Oh,
It was all hell breaking loose for 41 laps, and we loved every minute of it. Alex Court, I'll go to you. It's rare that we see lads have a night where he struggles, but that's 2 on the trot now. He wasn't on the podium at Spa. He's not on the podium here. How does he bounce back going into next week, knowing that the margin's only 13 points and he desperately wants to keep hold of that number 1?
Yeah, look, I was surprised, not to see Laz on the podium actually this week. Again, like all through the week, he's had the pace. So yeah, look, I don't know what happened. I think he made a couple of mistakes here and there. So look, I said it last week, and look, he'll come back stronger. It's just how he is. He's got that mentality. Someone beats him, or if I beat him, he comes out, pushes 10 times harder. So look, I think next week, I'll be backing him for a podium. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I would too. Just a matter of which position. I wouldn't want to hedge my bets there yet. It is so close, too close to call this championship. A 4-way fight for the title. The top 3 separated by 50 points. In fact, JP, can we just remind everybody one more time of those championship points before we go? Just to remind you all of the scenario going into next week, because the pressure cooker stakes are going to be as high as they've ever been. 2,088 for Leonards, 2,075 for Costello, 2,038 for Court. 50 points the buffer between the 3 of them. Jones on 1969, Morris 1823, and Sean McNamara 1802. So McNamara, despite everything, might snag a top 5 position in this championship yet if he can leapfrog Benny Morris next week. Then the battle down, it sort of fizzles out a little bit. Craig Schultz, Chris Barnes, there might be a battle there for 9th and 10th, but it is all Leonards and Costello. That's our focus next week. I'm going to have to get the points matrix out and start crunching some numbers and see what the equations say in terms of who does what and where bonus points come in and all that sort of stuff. And on the subject of bonus points, Alex Court, congratulations. 0 incidents despite all of that hip and shoulder stuff, that magnificent racing you had with Simon Vella and everyone else as well. So a 0x, mate, and therefore a couple of bonus points to boot with that. So well done.
Thank you.
All right. Final thoughts from you, Chris Kisby. I mean, you've been on the Rainer Costello bandwagon for much of the season. He might just pull it off for you next week.
He might just, but next week's another week, isn't it? Driver of the night for me, mate, and I've been waiting to say this ever since we got the drivers in here, and unfortunately Simon's gone. But as good as Rainer was, as good as Cameron was, I can't split Alex and Simon for the way that they raced tonight. It was just absolutely unbelievable, and they got my drivers of the night.
Well done. Aiden Schultz, as someone that's just brushed in for the night, hopefully we might see you next week as well. Hard to take your eyes off that after what they served up tonight, because when we thought we'd reached peak and these guys had put on a great show, they raised the bar again, and they seem to always find a way.
Yeah, definitely, Zach, and just thankful to be able to be a part of it tonight. As I said, I just jumped in at the end of an unfortunate night for me, but not taken away from these guys tonight. Sensational driving, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. And I'm still sitting here just going, "Wow!" Like, yeah, it was just an amazing night, and I just thank you guys and all the guys from SimShed Broadcasting to allow me to be a part of this series tonight that I don't usually commentate on. So thank you guys.
And our pleasure to have you in, mate. Always,
It is.
always good to break it up with 3 voices instead of 2, and especially tonight because I'm still reaching for the strepsils at the end of that broadcast. That was a lot of fun. Driver of the night nomination from you, Aiden. Who would you give it to if the vote was in your hands, mate?
I'd have to go Alex Court. I was going to go Simon Vella, but Alex Court would be mine. Just the way that he drove that car in the last 2 or 3 laps. Not like he drove it great through the whole race, but to be able to consolidate his position at the end of that race and to be able to make that car 3 car widths wide and prop that car mid corner and stop Simon being able to make that move, I think definitely on him.
Very nicely done. We've enjoyed it immensely. We hope you have as well. Let's thank all the great people that make it possible for us to do what we do here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. Of course, Nationwide Technology Systems, Racecraft Simulations and Blue Stampede Labour Hire, Hybrid Racing Simulations, DJM Parramatta, Dragon RC and Abritzi, also Track Cams for Gourmet and the Melbourne Hydrographics Depot. Without further ado, here's a look ahead as far as SimShed Broadcasting is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, because by gee, there's plenty to whet your appetite. Tomorrow night, penultimate round. Have a look at that. Goodyear V8 T2 E Series, courtesy of Goodyear Auto Carolina. 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Back here at Brands Hatch, 50k shorter race, but anything like tonight, well worth the price of admission. Get around that from 8:20 p.m. with Matt Davis leading the call. Weekend Warriors Cup car racing Saturday night. Schultzy back in the booth after taking a week off to go racing. We've lured him back out from the cockpit into the booth, and he will be in the chair for the finger-licking 400 from Kentucky. And then that's 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series grand finale next Tuesday night. Ignore that start time. We'll advise when we're going on air a little bit later on in the week once we sort a few things out, because we're going to have qualifying and race coverage for you. The race will start at 8 o'clock, so the pre-race will be about 7:45, 7:50. The top 10 shootout before that, so I reckon it's a fair guess that we'll be on air around 6:45. Looking forward to it immensely. The top 10 shootout, always a special occasion when we get to Mount Panorama, even for only a 250-kilometre race. That is going to be the shootout will be delayed, but the race itself will be live and exclusive to the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting all around Australia, right across the world. Next Tuesday night, race start 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then we'll crown our champions, talk to our podium from the race itself, and go through all the usual post-season motions. So fair chance that the broadcast next week will end a little after 10:30, much like tonight. But it's been great fun as per usual. Really hope you enjoyed that. Rainer Costello, struggling to find adequate superlatives to describe the bloke's performances of late, because he has really established himself as one of the greats in NTS competition history. 4 rounds on the trot. No one has done that so far this season until tonight. He'll go to the mountain trying to make it 5 next week, but he'll have a hungry Lassif Leonage desperately trying to cling on to the number 1, and that is going to leave us setting up an absolute epic scrap there on the best 6.213 kilometres of motor racing real estate anywhere in the world next Tuesday night. I hope you'll join us for that, and I hope you've enjoyed it tonight as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And by gee, we've enjoyed it immensely. On behalf of Aidan Schultz, JP, Chris Kisby, and the team, this is Zach Caban saying very good night to you. Thanks very much for watching all the action of the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series. We'll see you from the mountain next Tuesday. Bye for now.